a human behavior, and it's so basic, and we should all be like this.
Yeah.
And because that's the nature of us, actually. I mean, yes, I know that human beings has a bad nature as well, but this is also a part of, but we are so used to not trusting and not having things so easily put in front of us, even just a food and bed, and you have to fight for it for so long, or you have to deserve it, or you have to pay for it, or you have to do something in return to get it. When something like this happens, it's like, wait, what's going on? Is this is something what you're not comfortable with it? Whereas for those people, it's like,
I think
food, it's a bed. I'm having a conversation with you. You have your experiences. I have mine. We're talking. We're exchanging. Some life stories and a couple of fish. And you slept on my bed. So what? Of course. Yeah. He's looking at it that way. You're looking at it. You're like, wait, what happened here? How is this? I didn't, I had to walk like, another 3 hours just a few minutes ago, and now I'm in a warm bed in a warm house. They handed over the keys to me. They fed me. They,
That's it. I learned to trust. I learned to trust.
That's the moral of the story. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you learn to trust people.
I mean, that's very, because I feel that that's really important part, because also I feel like we are overthinking to plan the next step. And I think the accommodation is like really important in my psychology, because even I'm traveling, I book the place first and then nothing else. Okay, I can be spontaneous in Paris, in Milan, but I know where I need to. I need to know where I will stay. That's my fear.
In general, for all
my insecurity in the life.
All the trips that you take, the first thing you do is you book your hotel or you book your stay.
Maybe because of gender, because I feel like I cannot stay on the street, like a man. Maybe it's a gender effect in this, not a biological effect, but it's a cultural effect that we have.
It's also the money issue too.
And the money issue and the insecurity and security. Well, but they're all related in this topic. And on the Camino, actually you need to deal with this stress so badly, because you are walking and you don't know where to stay next day. I mean, you can book a private place, but it will destroy the whole experience. You can call, especially on Camino del Norte, it was a hot season that I did, and I need to reserve the place in advance. Otherwise, there was no proper place, and you need to pay 100 euros, 200 euros for 1 night. And then this is why I was like texting them, but still, like, you need to think about next day, and that's very important. And if you, still I am not a pro on this mindset, but maybe next time I want to go there without any idea, maybe with a tent.
Yeah.
So
be ready for anything.
Yeah, you don't need
for
to
having or not having a place, but be ready to.
I like it because I'm walking alone. So if you walk alone, the risks are very, at extremes, because like
it's higher as opposed to having a pack of.
You need to think about the place, and especially imagine that you are so tired of walking 30 kilometers, and walking like 5 kilometers more is like
hell.
It's like a hell. And this is why I think it's also another insecurity that we have in the modern life, because they are pushing us. Okay, you need to buy a house.
Yes.
Because it's important. It's safety issues. You need to lock your door. You need to lock your heart, because people are bad. People will destroy your inside. So we always put the borders, the walls, protect ourselves, because we feel like insecure with the others. So on the road, at least, you feel like you are so secure in the natures somehow.
Yeah.
And it was a shock to me, because I thought like nature is more. What if I see I don't know, like a wolf or something, and they don't care about you actually, because you are not a good probably need for them, at that moment.
It feels so secure, but also so open as well.
Yeah.
At the same time, and that's something else I learned, was to be open.
Yeah.
I'm a very open person maybe not by nature, but I learned to be open at some point in my life, I guess. Yeah, so I think that for me it's important just to respect my space.
Yeah.
And just and respect your space, and if you need something, just ask, and if I can help, I can help. But for me, it's security and also being open. be flexible
Yeah.
in this as well.
Being
But
flexible.
the pressure is the race as well, the race for the beds. Because you hear people in the hostel, and they talk about, where are you staying tomorrow night? They're doing book a place, or
like imagine the spoiling moment for you.
Yeah.
Like you just reach your albergue, you wanna enjoy the moment, and they're talking about, especially like Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, like it becomes that kind of game for them, a race.
A race, yeah.
You know, I walked 45 kilometers today. They were competing with the kilometers. They were competing with, okay, I called this place. They said it's booked.
Yeah.
What we would, and you are starting to panic as well. This is the
That's
human
kind of-
feeling, you know.
That's what they're used to, though. That's the entire system, pretty
Culture,
much.
yeah.
The entire culture and the mindset of the entire United States of America. That's the way. I mean, it's that's why we say it's so fast. It's and you need to move quick. You need to, and you're always in a competition. Whether it's people or businesses or anything, pretty much. It's the culture and the system of where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So they're used to this from when they were 3 years old, probably. It's just that's their nature. They have to be.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like it's very hard, maybe for them. I'm not sure to be in the moment, be in the present.
Yeah, no, you always have
I'm always like
to think the next step. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I think walking and swimming are the only two things that I don't think mostly inside of these actions. I mean, when I start to swim, I'm thinking. It's like maybe overthinking, but after 5 minutes, my mind stops. I just enjoy the. It's like a death, in a way. Same thing with walking. At the beginning of the first kilometers of each day, I overthink the fears, everything is like coming like a bump, 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 and then after 5 kilometers, there is no space and energy in my mind that more because I did the maximum.
And for me, I focus so much on my breathing, so I'm really an advocate of like Buddhism and interbeing and all these ideas.
Yeah.
So I love all this that sort of mindfulness, and so for me, I'm too busy focusing on my breath. I can't think about it.
Darren, I think most of us breathe incorrectly.
Yeah.
Learning to breathe properly is I think it's. I mean, there should be workshops and
There probably
classes.
is.
I mean, yeah, no, for sure there is,
yeah.
but it's not as popular as I don't know. So many other bullshit that we don't need is what I'm saying. But
of course,
most of us we don't breathe correctly.
Yeah.
You know, to practice those breathing techniques and to breathe properly, especially in nature, is certainly going to have quite a bit of positive effect on
exactly. And
so many.
And if I can, so we talked about loneliness, I guess earlier a little bit. So one of my low points on the Camino, to answer the question, was I had walked so far, and I had a real depth of, I hadn't seen anybody in 6 hours, 7 hours walking.
I know this feeling so bad.
So I walked 48 kilometers one day, okay? And there's a long story about the 48 kilometers, but long story short, I wanted to move past a group of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of got in a flow with people, and every night we'd see them, and we'd go to the pub and the bar, and then next day they'd want to meet again and walk together, and I said, no, I'm going to walk on. My original plan was to walk in the spiritual variante, the spiritual variant of Portuguese way. So I walked myself, but I needed to walk 48 kilometers in one day. But in this walk, I had a real feeling of being alone. And it's funny because I actually missed those guys, I missed being somebody, just to not even talk with them, just to see.
Yeah.
No, we're social creatures.
I'm not on my own, and there's somebody going this way. Because I had feelings of being lost as well in the woods. So I had a moment, and I'm sitting on this rock, and thinking, I feel so alone right now. And I thought of something that came into my brain. I don't know where it came from, but it was a feeling of connectedness with this tree. So I could see this tree in front of me, a huge tree. And I said to myself, I'm going to breathe with this tree. So I took a breath, an in-breath, and I was thinking, I'm breathing in this tree's out-breath. So I'm taking in the tree's oxygen, and he's taking in my carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So there's a connection with me and the tree. Me and the tree. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Yeah. And then this feeling abated, and then I thought to myself, if I feel alone again, I'm going to breathe.
Yeah.
Therapy
it's amazing. Actually, like this feeling of being lonely is the very beginning of art and everything. Like this is why we invented science in a way.
Yeah.
Because we want to discover something. Like we want to learn more about the other creatures, the animals, the aliens, whatever. Yeah. So I feel the same. Like when I feel alone, I just start to talk. The minimum, the bare minimum is I talk to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I talk like a double personality, a triple personality, saying something. I'm chat, and my brain is very okay with this mindset. Or with the other animals, the three. And actually, maybe it's so mad to say that, but I think they respond. Like I remember, like I was reading maybe it's like selective perception, but I was reading in Bible that time or Quran, I don't know, and there was a kind of passage about birds and how the prophet is talking to the birds or something, and the birds came and normally, I mean, they were coming on my table, and I was like giving them a piece of bread, and they are coming more. I know that it's very common, but they were fearless. And I was talking to them, and they were like coming more and looking at my face. It was so fucking weird because I didn't get such a one-to-one connection with an animal. And she was looking at me, I was looking at her. We are talking, and she was like coming next to me, and I said, "What's happening now?" It's a very magical moment that I cannot explain properly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And in the nature, I think we learn the real language. This language is not the best language to communicate with the others. This language, like the human language that we invented, those are just like a stick that we play with something. You need to touch with your bare hands. And to that, I think the silence is the best language in a way, because silence talks. Especially in nature, you can feel it. Everybody is talking with their own language, okay, in the nature, the birds, blah blah. And what's your language? You also talk, but the idea is not to communicate with the words. You need to communicate with the feelings.
Yeah.
And understand
not
that
so many people pay attention.
No.
Maybe so many people talk, but with the animals and everything too. But they don't pay attention to the to that animals or to that the reactions from the other side. It's generally speaking, it's a one-sided conversation. But to actually learn to pay attention to have two-way.
This is why I think it becomes an addiction, because I don't feel lonely in the nature. I feel fear.
Yeah.
And fear is like the real fear.
But you need to.
I feel happiness. I feel like being united with the others, like very being part of the nature, not superior or inferior, but a part of it.
Yes.
Because in the cities we are superior to nature. We domesticate nature. Look at that. Even the parks are domesticated. We build the park with our hands. It's city park.
And put the animals there with our hands.
The animals like the zoos. Even like everything, I look at these plants. Those are domesticated, like it's so fake.
Yeah.
We feel superior to the nature in the cities, which is not true, and we cannot bear with this lie, because we know in deep down that's a lie. We are pretty inferior to the nature.
Absolutely.
This is why, like, we suppress our inferiority complex in the nature by superiority complex by science or something. Because we are so weak in the nature. Just go to the forest and see how weak we are.
Yeah.
We are very useless in the nature, in the sense.
It's interesting. I feel very similar. For me, it went from feeling lonely in nature to feeling connected.
Yeah.
But in real nature, not just the park, like not my local park. Because yes, it's totally fake. You can see it, I can see man-made beach, and it's fake.
Yeah.
But I think what you're talking about is a different level of conversation, different level of awareness, it's a different rhythm. It's a rhythm of nature, that we have somehow lost touch with.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's lovely that you can see it in that conversation with the birds.
What a transformation!
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think like coming to maybe I can add. I just remember like the bad part, the worst part in the Camino. I think it's mostly the commercial parts, especially there are some sections where you enjoy the nature and the hospitality at most. Like to me, Camino Primitivo was an amazing experience because it's Camino primitive, but the primitive way. So the first way, everything is like so wild, blah blah. So people are very different on this road. They are more challenging. That's a separate and challenging part to your body and your psychology because you need to walk in the nature on the top of the mountains for hours.
Yeah.
But there are some sections like the last parts of Camino de Frances from Melide.
Oh, yeah.
It becomes a kind of international trekking groups. They are coming with the buses.
Yeah,
everything is very pricey. Everything is like disgusting. Plus, because of the overcrowdedness, we have bed bugs.
Yeah.
And the noise and the very shitty. I mean, normally I really like the chat. Listen to the chat, the other people on the. Even though I'm not a part of them, they are so unique.
It's interesting to observe.
Yeah, to observe. But at that kind of places, I feel like so. I don't know. I don't want to be there. They are spoiling the whole spirit.
That's what I was wondering throughout the conversation as well. I didn't want to ask earlier, but well, two things I was wondering. One is, did they make a business out of this at some point? Are there places of are they taking advantage?
I think
of this? Because
when it comes to our case, it's like 70%.
Yeah, because when you have a it's sort of like imagine if I go to a small village in Italy right now, and it's such a lovely, imagine it's a beautiful village, but nobody really knows about it. It's not so easy to travel to there. Things are, quite cheap. You can and you can spend a good time there because it's not so crowded. In comparison to, let's say, Rome or Venice or Paris, things like that. And it's a beautiful village. And then let's say 5, 6 years or 10 years down the road, by little, it starts getting recognized. People start hearing about it. Then you've got this huge influx of people actually going to the same small village.
Yeah.
Where it's becoming more difficult to breathe or to walk or to eat and you're paying, and the price index is actually, the worse the experience, the more money that you pay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I know. Ironically, but that's how it works usually. I remember having this feeling a few years ago when I went to Thailand. So Thailand, it's advertised as some of the islands, especially as peaceful, beautiful, clean, nice blue turquoise beaches, things like that. But to make a long story short, when I arrived to some of those islands, the pictures are like maybe, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning, taken on a small exclusive part of this island or something, because in reality when you actually arrive there, you've got not one but maybe 50 boats arriving at the same time, and each boat having, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 plus people at the same time, going into the island, and the beach, even it's not so as clean. It's not. I mean, it changes. The environment changes. Everything.
And for sure,
it's of course it's valid for community.
You know what I mean?
This is why you need to choose the places. Like thankfully now, on the apps like Buen Camino, like Good Walk in a way. That's a very nice application that I use. So you can check the photos, the review, and choose like the most local, quiet one. Even though it's oxymoron because it's popular, but at the same time, there are those people that they don't want to sleep on with 15 people, 20 people. But for me, like the adventure comes with this kind of cost, walk.
Yeah.
So they want to split to the other parts. It's like life. You are walking on the same road with different tools. Their shoes are better, their backpack is better, blah blah, and they want to sleep in a better place.
But the noises
are different. But to me, like there is no better or worse. In a way, you just need to find the similar mindset, alike ones. Yeah. So this is what you need to have a research before, in advance.
Yeah, and for me, I don't really compare. So I don't think about is this place better or worse than the place I've been to before.
Yeah,
different. So just different experience.
Exactly. I just focus on myself. Okay, how am I in this moment? I don't think about what you were doing or what you were doing or what
Yeah.
John is doing or his life. I'm just literally focused on me in this moment.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit selfish, I think, maybe, but for me, I just care about myself at the moment.
And I want to tell something about him because
point,
I met him on the road with his ukulele.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I mean that's amazing because
why he plays good ukulele.
I mean you can explain maybe better, but
Where's
the
your
idea is
ukulele?
like he wanted to learn how to play ukulele, and everybody's carrying something, right? Like your backpack, blah blah, and he was carrying ukulele on the road. And we know him, ukulele guy, you know, at the beginning. Everybody knows him on the road because he was practicing, not because you are an expert, but you want to learn. And imagine you have such an idea, such a focus on the road.
That's it. It's the focus. So for me, it was a way to not look at my phone or not to chat to somebody just to fill the gap, the emptiness. It was about something that I can focus on myself. So yeah, so I learned. I was really bad in the first few days. I bought the ukulele 2 days before I went on the Camino, so I didn't know anything. So I had an application and I learned the chords and tried to figure out some songs. So I learned how to play "Creep" by Radiohead, and I learned to play "Yellow" by Coldplay. And
I like that song, Yellow.
Yeah, but by the end of the Camino, I arrived into the plaza and in front of the cathedral, and I started playing ukulele, and then the people were recording me. So one man we met from Italy, Piero, and Jesus from Spain.
Quite a bit of Italians doing the Camino.
Yeah, many, yeah. So they took a video of me, and you know, I was really good. You know, I was really proud of myself, and I was like, I was good.
It's an accomplishment.
But
you know,
you could see him on the road in the forest.
Give a concert in a few days.
Yeah,
so
you could see him in the forest alone practice.
Yeah.
You could see him at the albergue, you know.
And I don't care.
Force people to listen.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to listen and give me now. You need to listen to me and give me feedback. You know, like it's like he's learning. He was learning not because he was showing off. He was learning, and that's so unique to me. You know.
Yeah.
And the people around them help them actually, because they help you recognize your progress, your accomplishment, and you share it with them.
I recognize that maybe it's not appropriate now to be playing ukulele in this moment because somebody might want to be relaxing and like reading their book, and I'm like cling 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 really like that. So I said no, I have to respect. But yeah, so the ukulele really was just something that I thought, but also it connected people to me as well in a way. So, for example, I was in a bar on the way to Borres. I don't know if you, Borres is a little village. And on the way, they're all little villages, right?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
At the albergue, people saw my ukulele. And then I went to the bar and the restaurant, and I had a pretty good meal and had a nice time and a chat. And then at maybe 11 o'clock in the night time, some people come to the albergue, come to the bar and say, come on, you have to play the ukulele for us, concert. And this is like my fourth day of playing ukulele.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I went back to the hostel, and there's like 6 people in the beds, and they're all waiting for me to play ukulele. So they're all recording me, lots of Italian people.
What was it? The blue one? No.
Blue one, yeah.
Blue one, right.
It's blue. So I'm playing, and I'm really, really bad, but I don't care, you know, because at this point I'm like, I don't care about if I'm good or bad. For me, it's just about being.
And learning.
And learning, yeah.
And I saw the progress.
Yeah, my intention was to learn, not to be center of attention or to be. It was just I'm just being myself, authentic. How I sound does not matter.
Yeah.
So I was like, but it was funny because I played for like 40 minutes. So I learned some other songs I put the phone on the bed and with the chords and the lyrics, and I just played. And people next day they were like, oh. Not good or bad, just that was interesting. Interesting. So then people knew me then for my ukulele. It's nice because people always, I find not always, people sometimes associate you with where you're from.
Yeah.
So they'll think of you as the Irish guy or
Turkish girl,
right, from Barcelona. So for me, I wanted to break this stereotype a little bit.
Yeah.
Because people would think Irish guy, okay, he probably likes drinking beer and getting drunk and
stereotypes,
dancing and well, so I wanted to break that a little bit subconsciously. I didn't think of this until after the fact. Yeah, that was the ukulele story.
I mean, I have a couple of questions as well. Like the first one is, what did you feel? Because like you were walking in the nature for 10 days and you don't see many human beings, just little villages, especially on Camino de Primitivo. And then you're reaching a village, a big one like Lugo.
Oh yeah.
And you are so overwhelmed with people. Like it's so weird because I mean, I remember like I was very smelly because of nature, thanks to nature. Like I was smell like shit.
Yeah.
Covered by shit.
Literally.
Literally, like yeah. And also like the smell of grass, smell of everything, and you realize this smell when you reach to the city, because there are other types of smell, other types of norms and people and expectations. And when you sit down on a beer or at the bar, you feel like, oh God, am I like an animal now or a person? So what did you feel like when you reach a kind of, even though it's a small city like Lugo, you feel like, oh God, such a big place, right?
Well, Lugo, when I arrived, there was a festival, and it was so packed. There was so many people there for this Roman festival of light, but it was fascinating because I didn't care. I had walked so far. At that point, I was too tired to care about how I looked, how I smelled, how I felt. I just wanted to sit down, have a glass of red wine and some pulpo, and that was it. But what helped me was that I was not on. I was with two other people, people who walked the Camino with me, and we sat together. So we were three.
There was three smelly people.
We were
Smell people, yeah.
Instead of one, so
Yeah.
you didn't feel so.
Yeah.
So
We were together alone, you know.
Together alone,
And smelly, right?
like
So that was I learned how to be alone, but also with other people as well.
that's a big thing. That's because if you learn this, you can enjoy the city.
Yeah.
Because the city that we cannot deal with
Yeah.
is basically we don't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
Being alone together, you know.
But it's
yeah, no, it's very important.
Yeah.
To really learn and understand and to be able to do it in real life as well. Because,
and also like the other question is more like you want to be somehow codependent in the nature with somebody, like subconsciously. Okay, I need somebody to walk with, but at the same time you
I
don't.
need my space.
And
Exactly.
then you say, I need
It's
my
the
space.
same thing in life too.
Totally.
I mean,
It's
if you think of all the relationships and all the experiences with people, with the other humans that you have in life, the ones that you feel comfortable and the ones that you keep around you are generally, probably, at least I'll speak for myself, the people that respect your space.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can share your silence with.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can have a social, shit, shared social experience with them. Individually, when it comes to yourself, I think this is one of the key points that we have, that if you know how to do that, you can have a nice balance in life. Yes, you have to be comfortable. You have to be okay with yourself, sitting with yourself, being alone, being in silence. But you also have to be capable of actually going outside that door and socializing, and whether it's for work, going to work, whether it's socializing, whether it's just going to the supermarket just down the corner of the street to buy bread or something. It's because it's a part of life, and it's a part of these cities that we live in. And even if it's not a city, even if you live in a village, you're still going to have people around you.
Yeah.
Because we need the people also. We're social creatures. If you look at it, like you're always, if you are by yourself, 30 days, imagine, in the woods or in this house, it doesn't even matter, in your own house, 30 days you don't see or speak or touch or nothing with anyone, no interaction at all. I mean, maybe different levels, level with different people in terms of what you feel. But at the end of the day, most of us is we need that touch. We need to speak. So
For sure.
We need to have a relationship with at least another person to even understand ourselves better, to see ourselves better. So it's a two-way thing as well. But
I can pinpoint the moment in my life where I learned disability just to exist in a place and be okay. So right now, you can put me into Barcelona and I'll exist. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. You can put me, I think, anywhere and I'll be okay. I'll figure it out. But the point where I learned this was when I was 25, I traveled across Canada, and I ended up going to Mexico, okay, like for a month. So from Toronto, I flew to Mexico City. And when I arrived in Mexico City, I had a huge feeling of anxiety, huge, because I looked and I could see I was the only person who looked like me, right? And the only person who didn't speak Spanish at the time. Mm-hmm. So I looked and I was so filled with anxiety, and then thoughts of when I get to Guadalajara, was where I was going to, Guadalajara. So I was thinking, when I get there, again, it was unknown, because I had a friend who invited me, but I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out or work out or where it's going to stay, or and it was filled with anxiety.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I took a break, and I sent a friend of mine a text message in Ireland who I hadn't spoken to in 5 years. But again, a friend that I know I can do this with. A friend like that, a real friend, somebody who will understand. So I sent her a message saying, hey Claire, just so you know, this is how I'm feeling now. Like two or three sentences. Thank you. And that's it. And then once I sent the message, I knew I told somebody else about this feeling. Yeah. So it was gone. That anxiety left. And since then, that feeling has never existed.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, with all things, even feelings or not feelings, when we share, that's what I mean when it enhances. Whether it's good or bad, it enhances. Always, I mean, when it's shared, it enhances in a good way.
Yeah.
But being able to do it mutually,
yeah,
to people is the key there. Where
exactly. Like I love those friends that you might not meet for 1 or 2 years, and when you meet them, it's like you saw each other yesterday. Yeah. I love those friendships.
It's a different connection. Yeah.
I think it's the same again. If I wanna connect it to the Camino feeling as well, because you're a group of people that you're walking on the same road, more or less, yeah. Right? So imagine that I don't see you for a couple of days, but I see you in another village, and it makes me feel like happy, yeah. Because I feel like this kind of friendship. Yeah. Okay, because you say that. Okay, now I know I saw Darren, so we have many things in common on the road, and it feels so secure in a way, right?
Yeah, and with you also, it was a case where the silence was good too.
Yeah.
I feel I could be silent with you, and be good.
Yeah.
It was a comfortable silence, not I want to say this to you, or no, it was I respected your space.
Yeah.
And you respected my space, which was really nice. Whereas some people you meet, they want to take your time, take your energy, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's about learning the boundary, you know.
It's weird because on the road you can see people are either walking together like a group of people for fun, you can feel, or for an experience or for challenge, and you can see those people who are either old and walk, or young or walk, or there. If you walk alone, there is a kind of reason behind. You can feel it, and I really wanna learn more about those people because there are stories embedded in this kind of personalities. Yeah, and he was walking alone. I was walking alone, and like he was writing down, I was writing down. When he was reading, I was reading. So we don't need to talk. We are talking already.
But you can still spend time together.
Yeah, we are talking already.
Each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But an example also is that I have done two Caminos when I walked with friends of mine.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And it's very different because it's their first Camino, you know. So I have a friend, my gal, she says gal pal, Monica from Poland, and we walked the Camino Portuguese together. But the way I decided was flexible, but also the very first day, let's walk together, and then after that, she can do her thing, and I can do my thing, and that was really a good way, I think, for me. For me, it was a good way, and for her too. She told me. But I have a funny story about Camino, if I can make it a funny one, okay? So I was walking Camino Muxia at Fistera. So Fistera is the end of the world in Latin. Fistera, it's the northwest point of Spain. Finisterra.
Finisterra is like the land.
Yeah, Fistera is the Galician for that. So we walked to Finisterra from Santiago. So we went the different way. But in Finisterre, and this morning the thunderstorm reminded me of this moment. So in Finisterre, it started really heavy thunderstorm and lightning and a lot of rain, But very nice and very enjoyable. But it was late, so we were like, we have to go back to the albergue because the next morning we're walking to a different town. So on the way I turned the corner from the bar. I walked around the corner, and I could see a man, a really old man, like maybe 80 years old, but he was so drunk, like he was holding against the wall. So his hand on the wall, then his elbow, and then his shoulder and his hips on the wall. And I said to him, "You need help? You need help? ¿Puedo ayudarte?" And he said, "Oh, mi casa, mi casa," and he points up the street, So I say, "Okay." So I took him by the shoulder, and we walked up the street together. And he's talking to me, but he's really drunk. And my Spanish is, I'm a little bit drunk too, right? I'm not gonna lie. So we walk up the street together, and then he's talking to me, and I'm like, "Oh, come on, come on." And I say, "This house?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah." So I hold him to the door, and I knock the door, but the door opens in, and the man falls into the door, and there's a lady sitting having dinner with her family, and I say, "Oh, this is your dad, or to Papa," and she's like, "Oh, no." so I'm like, she's like, "Oh, it's okay. He lives close by. We'll take him." And I said, "Okay." And then I said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "No. And you need to take him to Muxia, which is like 30 kilometers away." I said, "Huh?" I'm so confused, right? And she said, "No, she's still coming." So we went in and we had a glass of wine with her. Randomly, this lady and her family and this old man.
Just fell into the house?
Jose, yeah, he fell into the house, not his house. He lived like 4 doors up the street. So we had a glass of wine and together. And she told me he lives like 4 doors up the street. Can you take him? So okay. So like half hour later, I catch him again and we walked to his house 4 doors up the street.
Wow.
Yeah. Funny. Funny man, Jose from Finisterre. Funny.
Maybe he felt like having one last glass of wine before he went home.
Probably, subconsciously.
Yeah.
And he knew there was wine in that house. And...
Funny. Yeah, he was a funny man, Jose. Do you have any funny story? Or no?
Funny, let me think. But when it comes to thunder, I remember with Harry, it was very thundery day with storm and the rain, and you were in the forest on the mountain alone. I couldn't move, So it's like I was all bad.
Yeah.
Even though with this, the poncho. Yeah. But it wasn't funny, but I feel like, okay, I'm supposed to feel fear.
Yeah.
But I didn't. And it was funny because I found a tree to, stop and enjoy the thunder, but at the same time, I know I need to move on because otherwise I'm stuck here. And there is
weather you have to think about.
The weather, yeah.
And especially on the north part of Spain, it is always raining.
The season, the weather.
Yeah, it's like home. For me.
It's like home.
Or you gotta be okay with walking hours, completely wet. And
yeah, it's not easy, but walking with somebody else, with a friend, is interesting because you have this codependence.
Yeah.
So they're relying on you, and you're also, in a way, relying on them also. So my friend, from the UK, from my city, me and my two friends from my city, we walked Santiago. But the very first day, my friend's his plane was cancelled, so he didn't arrive to Porto on time. So he had to wait until the next morning and the train to the starting point. So normally I walk at 6 a.m. I leave 6 a.m. normally, but this day we left the town at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So at 9 p.m. it's dark. It's March in Marzo in Spain. So at the time, and it's really dark at 9 p.m. So I'm on the telephone making the reservation at the albergue.
Yeah.
It's funny because my friends think I'm fluent in Spanish, and I'm not. But in Camino, I'm good. I can book and I can make reservations. But yeah, it's that reliance on you making the decisions, which I'm not so good at because I don't like taking the the number one point. I don't like to be the
Decision
the
maker.
captain or the decision maker. Yeah, exactly. So I let it go. Next morning I'm leaving at 6. You can do what you want. So I'll see you. And that was a funny one.
I mean, sometimes they say that okay, the next day you're at the albergue, and they say the next day is very challenging because there is no water supply, blah blah on the road.
Yeah.
So you need to. It's better to walk with somebody. So it's another stress. Like that this that there are a couple of routes on the Camino Primitivo and Norte as well. I don't remember the name now, but and then I want to walk alone, but they push you to walk with somebody. So it's like, what if I walk alone? What's the risk?
Yeah.
And you're looking for somebody and imagine like you're leaving the albergue and
like on the corner of your eyes, like
okay, I choose the Pikachu.
I choose you.
I choose the Pikachu, and then somehow everybody has more or less the same fear because of this marketing.
Yeah.
So on this road, you find yourself that you're walking a lot. I think there was only one exception about the hospitality route.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, okay, you need to walk with somebody, and I couldn't find anybody because everybody was wanna.
Me too. I walk on my own.
But at the beginning, for the 3 hours, there was nobody on the road, and I'm not sure that I'm on the right path, and it's pretty like isolated part.
Yeah.
And I feel a bit scared, and then I said, never mind. What's the worst scenario? And because on the application I can see I'm on the correct path, so I feel secure.
Nice.
Not because of other person, but because of technology.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
But again, like this is cheating.
Yeah.
This is cheating actually, and because of power bank as well. So you feel like much more secure with a power bank.
Of course.
And then on the road, I saw a couple in front of me walking in the mist, because it was rainy and cold day, and I feel like, oh God, perfect. Now, all the muscles, all the
relax,
I relax, and now I can be alone. I mean, I can be alone.
Yeah,
I can
walk
alone.
In order to be
to the
alone,
rest, but I saw a couple.
yeah,
which is
it's
nice.
like
And that's all.
That's all.
And it helps also if you're struggling. Like I had a day when it rains so much, and it's a big hill. Oh my God, big hill. And at the top of the hill, I see this Italian man, Piero, and I say, if he can do it, I can do it. Si puedes, puedo.
Yeah, and those people are old, and
Yeah.
like you feel like a bit shame that you can when you complain about climbing. They're real old, like there are those people who are 70, 75, and they are so fit.
Yeah, like a mountain goat, up the
In the mountain
up the thing, like okay, I can do it. And so he was an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
On this morning, I could see I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm done walking this primitivo. And then I said, no, if he can do it, I can do it. But then he taught me one step, etapa etapa, one step at a time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I can focus on. And then I focus on, I have a little mantra as well that I say, which is ABC. ABC, always be calm. Or always be confident. Always be compassionate. Or always be chilled.
Wow, it's
ABC.
good. ABC.
It's easy. Like ABC, right? Yeah, so that's what I learned in my life.
Wow.
It's how I live. ABC. Don't panic. Things work out.
All right. So, what would be one advice that you give to a person who's never done Camino de Santiago, but is planning to or thinking about doing? What's the one advice that they should keep in their mind? What would you say?
Just do it.
I'm thinking because I want to give you a good answer. I want to give you an actual answer, not just a easy one. I'm trying to think what would I tell myself? Okay, I would tell myself that just book your flight into wherever, and don't worry so much about don't worry about the stops. Worry about just getting to the starting point. Don't worry about each day. Just worry about getting there, and then from there, you're good. Because then things will take care of itself.
There's a flow.
It flows.
Just go with the flow.
And that's it. Don't worry about the little things.
And what do you think about endpoint? Because it's weird because you are starting from random places, but generally speaking, there is an endpoint like that.
Everyone ends up there.
and everybody wanna go there. I mean, you can of course do a kind of separate thing, like okay, from A to B or C to D, but you know that the endpoint is the last letter of the alphabet, and everybody is talking about going to the Camino de Santiago, Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah.
So that's weird because sometimes, I mean, mostly my purpose was not going to the Compostela, not Santiago, any random places on the road.
Me too.
Since I done, and I done first and for 2 times to reaching to the end point and feeling this dopamine, the relaxation, the releasing stress. I done something like a checkpoint. Then I changed my mindset. Now I don't have any end point, but just plans on the road, and the plans are changing constantly. Like for instance, I didn't want to go Camino de Santiago.
Yeah.
And we discussed at this bar, and I said you should go there. And I changed my plan like in 10 minutes. I booked the flight, I booked the bus, I booked the train to the first city that I need to go. Padron. Yeah, Padron. And then the rest goes. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the first thing is book your starting point. Don't worry about the rest. And the second thing is just concentrate on the journey, not the main
not the end point, because end point is also good motivation for you. But it's like a checklist. The checklist, maybe it's good to get dopamine, get a feeling of accomplishment, but it's not the purpose. You can see it. Because most people focus on Santiago part.
Yeah.
And they feel emptiness after. What's next?
But I think the most important part is the journey.
Right, you feel the stress.
It's the journey and who you meet or what you experience and the walks and the daily,
Yeah, totally. Like they feel like first, I met these people when they reached to Santiago. They had these two things. The first one is like emptiness, the lack of purpose now, because they focus on purpose a lot.
Grief.
And the second part is like, okay, we hang out with these people on the road, and now it's the time to break up. There is no breakup if you don't have any endpoint.
Exactly.
Look at us. We are here.
If you made a connection, the connection is always there. Maybe it's not going to be in your control in terms of how you want it and where you want it.
Exactly.
And, in that aspect. But if you make a real connection, it's always going to be there.
Totally.
It's always going to be with you, and it doesn't.
Never ending.
There's no end point to that. It's a never ending story.
Yeah, totally. This is why, like for us, the point with him was not go to Santiago and fly down on the church with our certificados. No, we just want to focus on the connection.
The moment. I want to focus on the moment.
And it's really
connection
important
with yourself and connection with others and connection with nature. And connection with your basic emotions when you are in nature, in terms of whether it's something that you already have inside you that you're already going through, or the connections that you make through that tree or through that bird. Or
you need to bring that to the city as well.
The connection for me is when I feel authentic.
Yeah.
So when I can be myself, then I can feel a connection.
Yeah.
So for example, if I sit with you in silence, I can be myself. That's the connection.
Yeah, totally.
Another thing for me that's important is that to remember that we have two, like I said all the time, we have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. So the important thing is to listen more and look more than speak.
Yeah.
That's for me it's important in communication. On Santiago, Camino,
touch more.
Touch more. 2 hands.
Yeah, 2 hands to face. Like walk more.
Yeah. So talking is the least important.
Yeah.
Listening.
I mean,
even like smelling is important.
And I'm chatty, I'm chatty too, right? But I learned that I can listen to.
I mean, it's important too. Like, everyone knows we have to hold. Interesting.
Yeah, right. In 2 hands, 2 legs.
But we put more importance to walking part. Yeah.
Just fill the emptiness, fill the noise, fill the gap, fill the silence.
Yeah. And distraction.
Yeah, and then another one is like the purpose is not the destination.
But the more distractions we have, or the more distractions we create, the less authentic and the less deeper experience that you can have, even with relationships also. Imagine a person that you can share your silence with and you feel comfortable with it. There's not so many people who can
No, totally.
experience that. I think, and the ones that you can experience it with is a different relationship, different
level.
It's a different level of.
Actually, I want to push you. I want to, book a flight ticket altogether in the future to the borders of France, because I want to do like the first 4 days of Camino de Frances.
Perfect.
I probably wouldn't be able to walk from drinking wine, bottles of wine every day in southern France.
You walk better. If you drink, you walk better, because you enjoyed everything. Yeah. At most.
You can do your thing. I'll do my thing.
Yeah. I'd probably if the three of us were to go on a journey to Camino de Santiago journey for a few days or whatnot, I'm probably going to be one of those people, one of the one who says, okay, guys, everybody does their own thing. I'm gonna be the one, sitting in a bar drinking wine all day.
It's okay.
And I just want to know, okay, where are we gonna end up in 6 hours? And I get a taxi or flight or a bus or something. I'll meet you guys there.
Yeah, you do your style of Camino, right?
And actually, it's very good because I learn how to listen to my body. Instead of my purposes, my plan on the schedule. Okay, I said normally I planned that I need to walk 25 kilometers because I want to go that place, blah blah. And then I realized that I don't want to walk today. I just want to walk. I don't know, because normally you cannot stay at the same place.
Yeah, you have to keep moving.
That means you need to walk 5 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 10 kilometers to find another albergue. So I said, okay, today I will just walk 3 hours, 2 hours. I will enjoy the nature more, because somehow in deep down you feel still a competition, because first in, first bad. The strategy is like the albergues are opening at around 3 p.m. or something. So you need to wake up at 8, 9, 7, depending on
to give yourself enough time to arrive there to secure your spot.
Of course, you can go to the albergue at 8, but you cannot secure your spot. I mean, it also changes. I sometimes book hostels in advance, so I feel more freedom to walk. So I change my speed, I change my pace, I change my mood, because I know that I have
to adjust to.
That's the kind of marriage, you feel secure and you can enjoy the rest. Or sometimes they say that we don't have any reservation, and you cannot book first in, first out, kind of thing, and you feel stressed. And I don't want to feel stressed, and this is why sometimes, instead of getting in this kind of trouble, I book a place.
Yeah.
Because it creates.
It also allows you to concentrate on the road more, on the journey. Totally. You know what I mean?
It's
if your body doesn't want to walk more, don't.
Yeah.
If you want to spend 2 days more at this place because you like stay 2 minutes.
Instead of worrying 2 hours or spending time 2 hours to find a place, to book a place, to go there, to drop off your stuff, spend the 2 hours.
If you don't want to continue, just don't continue. Go back home.
Yeah.
Or follow the tourist part. Don't walk, but just enjoy the city.
Exactly.
So it's very flexible, and this freedom is that this kind of freedom doesn't create anxiety. Because you feel
no obligation.
Power. You feel the power. There is no obligation. There is no fear. You give yourself a space. Not
as opposed to if the vacations that most of us do right now, you have 2-3 weeks, you book a hotel or whatever, or a resort wherever you're going, you've already paid for it, so you feel you fly there.
You're limited.
You're limited in terms of, you're also obligated because you feel obligated because you paid for the resort or the hotel, whatever, whatnot. You book the flight. Everything is sort of structured, and instead of doing what it is that you actually what you want can change the next day also, but instead of actually going with the flow of what your wants and needs and pleasures and things like that, you actually adapt to the plan and the program that you've already created yourself.
Camino gives you this freedom,
It gives you the flexibility.
Even though there are some limitations, because we are working, and I book the flight tickets mostly in advance. Okay, this day from San Sebastian and the return is from Oviedo course,
Yeah.
because otherwise
The
the prices
basics.
are
I mean,
very.
the basic draft, okay, but
And imagine, still again, I have ending and an end point and start
too.
point, and mostly start point. Sometimes I don't want to buy the return ticket in advance, but because let's say from Oviedo or from Vigo, the prices are more or less same.
Yeah.
So I don't need to deal with the stress of buying tickets in advance. And it gives the real excitement, real adventure, because you don't know where you
Exactly.
will end up.
Yeah. Like you, I have a start point. I have an end point. I have a vague idea of where I'm going to stop, which towns I want to maybe go to. I look at the albergues. Are they albergue here? Yeah, okay, I might stay here. But it's important for me to remain flexible.
Yeah.
To remain open to change. Because my body might fail after 10 kilometers.
Or you might want something else.
Exactly. I could meet Sibel and have a good conversation with her, and I might think, let's have a glass of wine at the town. Or I might meet Sibel and go, no, I'm not talking to Sibel this evening.
Yeah.
I'm going to just be on my own,
And you said, and imagine that Sibel says that, hey, you know what? I'm staying over at this place. It's very nice. Let's choose this albergue, and you are just changing the route.
Yeah.
So easily.
Easy.
This flexibility really gives the whole spirit.
Yeah. And also,
it's more natural. It's more
very natural. You feel power.
And even if you book somewhere, it's like maybe 14 euros. So if I book a hostel, 14 euros, and I pay it. If I change my mind, that's okay.
It's okay.
It's 14 euros. Come on.
Yeah. But I mean, I can compare like 10 years ago when I done it for the first time. I was student and I was penniless. So I should follow the rules.
It was 6 euros, I remember, at the hostel.
Yeah, like 5 euros,
6?
4 euros.
Wow.
And sometimes donativo, like donation based. So my focus was basically find a shelter and spend less as much as I can.
Of course.
But last year and the year before, you can spoil yourself. You can feel the freedom of choices.
Exactly.
It comes with the money.
Also, I want to enjoy pulpo in Melilla.
Yeah.
No, Melilla was really busy, but the pulpo was quite good.
The pulpo is good, yeah.
But I like that. I like the idea of the Camino from Saint-Jean-Pied, I guess.
Yeah.
For 4 or 5 days. That's a good.
It's a good. I mean, for her, for Duygu as well, because it's a bit challenging in a way, but you can change the speed.
I haven't walked it. Yeah. I have never done the French way.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
The most challenging one was the Camino de Madrid.
Oh, really?
Oh.
But because of
its
temperature or
it's flat.
And
it's in the meseta, I guess. It's just sun, no shade, and the little towns are empty.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, like you say, people who carry their food on Camino from Madrid, you need to bring some food because the place empty.
Yeah.
Empty.
And the funny part is like it's a huge system. Like if you wanna walk in Italy, they're a part of Camino. And in France as well. In Spain is well organized, generally speaking, because they spend a lot of money. So it becomes like a kind of game now.
Yeah.
It's fun. And it's addiction. It's totally an addictive because for me, the addictive part is what's next.
Yeah.
Because you feel like I discovered that you're meeting with the local people, local food, and you wonder about the next. And it's so addictive that you don't want to stay. You want to do another Camino because every Camino, every path has its own taste.
Nuance.
Yeah.
But also, even if I walk the same Camino, the same route, I have a total different experience though.
Absolutely.
And talking about local people, if I can share one little story. So on the Camino Inglés, I'm walking, right?
Surprise.
Sorry? And it's really hot. And for some reason, I didn't have a coffee in the morning or breakfast in the morning. So I'm walking maybe 6 hours, and it's really hot.
Without coffee and breakfast.
Exactly. And I have like no water left.
Not for you. Okay, not for you.
No.
The breakfast part I can do without.
It's my mistake. It was my mistake. I left really early. I wanted to challenge myself by getting up really like 5:30 a.m. and going in the dark, right? It was a challenge to myself to focus on my shadow self. It's another story. It's a Jungian thing. But anyway, so I'm walking along. I'm really tired. All I'm thinking is, I need coffee. I need a coffee. I need a coffee. I need food. I need food. I need food. And oh my God, it manifested, okay? So I turn the bend and I see two people talking up the street. And I see a lady in a pinafore, how you say, a lady in an apron, right? A local lady. And she's talking to this German guy that I met, and she hands him an egg, right? An egg. So I go over thinking, oh, food, right? So she hands me 2 eggs, so I have them in my hands, and she gives me a third egg. So I have nowhere to put it, so I have to put it in between my knees. So I'm holding 3 eggs because they're hard, like hard eggs. So one here, and one on my knees. Really awkward. And she says to me, "Do you want food?" I said, "Oh my God, please." So she took us to her little house up the street, and her little dog Jackie was running around the garden. She cooked us chicken, bread, potatoes, and a big meal in her garden. And she gave us coffee and water and what we wanted. And I'll never forget her. She was incredible. Martha was her name.
Yeah.
Martha. But the year after, they changed the route. So they changed the route, so it bypassed her home. But the year after, I went my own route, you know. I went on her road, hoping to see her. I didn't see her. But she was lovely. Martha from Galicia. Yeah. Wow. Really nice lady. Good memory for me.
That's very nice because on the road you can see like people are preparing a kind of table, putting food for free.
Yeah.
In front of their houses or something. I mean, of course, if you want to donate something, but mostly they just want to help you. That's such a nice feeling for both sides. And another part is I think since we are a very city-oriented person, people, I thought, okay, I will skip coffee part, breakfast part, because in 10 minutes, in 1 hour, I'm sure I will see a coffee.
Yeah. Oh.
And you won't see a coffee.
Yeah.
And that's a bad mistake. You realize that, okay, I'm walking for 3 hours and I couldn't see any human being.
I think that's an experience in itself as well. Like, for example, I know that when I do travel plans for vacation, whatever, not when I book hotels or I go to visit other cities or everything. Yes, coffee is always important for me in the morning because it's it's what I'm used to, and my mind like automatically I wake up every single day.
Yeah.
For so long now, I can't remember, for so many years of my life, and the first thing that I do is I drink coffee.